Greetings, and welcome back to Money Deconstructed, the channel dedicated to unraveling the intricate psychological forces that shape our financial lives. Today, we embark on an exploration of a pervasive phenomenon known as scarcity and its profound influence on our decision-making processes, particularly in the realm of monetary affairs. The perception of limited resources, whether real or manufactured, can exert a powerful and often subconscious sway over our judgments, leading us down paths that may not align with our rational interests or long-term financial well-being. Understanding the psychological mechanisms underlying this influence is crucial for fostering greater financial literacy and cultivating a more mindful approach to our economic choices. In this presentation, we will dissect the multifaceted nature of scarcity, examining how it is strategically employed in the realm of marketing to shape consumer behavior. We will delve into the neurological underpinnings of our responses to perceived limitations, exploring the intricate interplay between our emotions and our cognitive functions when faced with the prospect of missing out. Furthermore, we will meticulously analyze the tangible impact of scarcity on our financial decisions, highlighting the potential for overspending and impulsive purchases driven by this potent psychological trigger. Finally, we will equip you with practical strategies for overcoming the scarcity trap, empowering you to cultivate an abundance mindset that transcends the allure of artificial limitations and fosters a more secure and fulfilling financial existence. The strategic deployment of scarcity has become a cornerstone of modern marketing practices, serving as a potent tool to influence consumer behavior and drive sales. Businesses across diverse industries have masterfully leveraged the psychological impact of limited availability to create a sense of urgency and exclusivity around their offerings. This tactic capitalizes on the fundamental human desire to possess what is perceived as rare or in high demand, often overriding rational considerations of need or value. By creating an environment of limited supply or opportunity, marketers tap into our innate fear of missing out, compelling us to take action before the perceived window of opportunity closes. Consider the ubiquitous nature of limited-time offers, a classic example of scarcity marketing. Whether it's a flash sale with a rapidly approaching deadline or a promotional discount available only while supplies last, these tactics are designed to induce a sense of urgency and encourage immediate purchase. Similarly, the creation of exclusive products or services, accessible only to a select group or for a limited period, plays on our desire for status and belonging. Waiting lists for highly coveted items further amplify this effect, transforming the act of acquisition into a privilege. These carefully orchestrated campaigns demonstrate the profound power of scarcity in shaping consumer demand and driving purchasing decisions. Our brains are hardwired to respond to scarcity in ways that often bypass our conscious reasoning. At the core of this response lies the amygdala, a region of the brain primarily associated with the processing of emotions, particularly fear and anxiety. When we perceive a resource as scarce, whether it be money, time, or a desirable object, the amygdala triggers a cascade of physiological and psychological reactions, activating our innate fight-or-flight response. This primal mechanism, honed through millennia of evolutionary pressures, prepares us to act swiftly in the face of perceived threats or limitations. Scarcity often triggers a powerful sense of urgency and the pervasive fear of missing out, commonly known as FOMO. This psychological phenomenon stems from our social nature and our inherent desire to remain connected and not be excluded from desirable experiences or possessions. The perception that others are benefiting from something we are not can evoke feelings of anxiety and a compelling urge to participate, even if the opportunity does not genuinely align with our needs or priorities. This emotional response can override rational decision-making, leading to impulsive actions driven by the fear of regret rather than a thoughtful evaluation of value. The link between scarcity and heightened emotional responses is well documented in psychological research. When faced with limitations, our emotional centers tend to take precedence over our rational thought processes, making us more susceptible to impulsive decisions. This is particularly evident in the context of financial choices, where the fear of losing out on a perceived opportunity can lead to hasty purchases without adequate consideration of budget or long-term financial implications. Understanding this neurological interplay is crucial for developing strategies to mitigate the negative consequences of scarcity-driven decision-making. The psychological impact of scarcity has significant ramifications for our financial well-being. One of the most prominent effects is the tendency to overspend on items perceived as scarce, driven by the fear of losing out on a valuable opportunity. This can manifest in various scenarios, from bidding wars on limited edition collectibles to purchasing multiple units of a product during a limited time sale, even if the quantity exceeds our actual needs. The perceived urgency and the potential for future regret can cloud our judgment, leading us to allocate resources in ways that are not financially prudent. Furthermore, scarcity can frequently lead to impulsive purchases, even when the item in question is not truly needed or desired. The allure of a limited-time offer or the fear of missing out on a popular trend can override our rational assessment of the item's value and our actual requirements. This can result in the accumulation of unnecessary possessions and the depletion of our financial resources on fleeting desires rather than on long-term financial goals. Recognizing this tendency towards impulsive behavior in the face of scarcity is the first step towards making more informed financial decisions. To navigate the pressures of scarcity and make sound financial choices, it is essential to develop proactive strategies. Cultivating a mindful awareness of our spending habits and consciously differentiating between needs and wants can help us resist the urge to overspend on scarce items. Establishing a budget and prioritizing long-term financial goals provides a framework for evaluating purchasing decisions against our broader financial objectives. By consciously resisting the hype surrounding scarcity-driven marketing and taking a moment to evaluate the true value and necessity of a potential purchase, we can mitigate the negative impact of scarcity on our financial well-being. Overcoming the scarcity trap requires a conscious and deliberate effort to shift our mindset and develop healthier consumption habits. Cultivating a mindful approach to consumption involves paying closer attention to our motivations for purchasing goods and services, consciously distinguishing between genuine needs and fleeting wants. By engaging in thoughtful reflection before making a purchase, we can avoid succumbing to the impulsive urges often triggered by scarcity tactics. This mindful approach empowers us to make choices aligned with our values and long-term goals rather than being driven by external pressures. Building financial literacy is another crucial element in overcoming the scarcity trap. A strong understanding of personal finance principles, including budgeting, saving, and investing, provides a solid foundation for making informed financial decisions. By developing a clear picture of our financial situation and establishing long-term financial goals, we can better evaluate the true value of potential purchases and resist the temptation to overspend on scarce items that do not contribute to our overall financial well-being. Financial literacy empowers us to prioritize our resources effectively and make choices that support our long-term security. Learning to resist the urge to buy into the hype surrounding scarcity-driven marketing is an essential skill in navigating the modern consumer landscape. Recognizing the psychological tactics employed by marketers to create a sense of urgency and exclusivity allows us to approach these campaigns with a more critical and discerning eye. By taking a step back and evaluating whether a purchase truly aligns with our needs and values, rather than being swayed by the fear of missing out, we can make more rational and financially sound decisions. Developing this resistance to manipulative marketing techniques is key to breaking free from the scarcity trap. Shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset represents a fundamental transformation in our perception of resources and opportunities. A scarcity mindset is characterized by a belief that resources are limited and that there is not enough to go around, often leading to feelings of anxiety and competition. Conversely, an abundance mindset fosters a belief that there are ample resources and opportunities available, promoting feelings of gratitude and generosity. This shift in perspective can have a profound impact on our overall well-being, including our financial lives. Embracing gratitude is a powerful tool in cultivating an abundance mindset. By consciously focusing on the things we already have and expressing appreciation for them, we diminish the perceived lack that fuels the scarcity mindset. This practice helps us recognize the richness and fullness of our lives, shifting our attention away from what we lack and towards what we possess. Focusing on our existing resources and expressing gratitude for them can reduce the allure of acquiring more material possessions driven by a fear of scarcity. Ultimately, living beyond the scarcity mindset involves creating a life filled with purpose, meaning, and personal fulfillment that transcends the acquisition of material possessions. When our sense of worth and satisfaction is derived from intrinsic values, meaningful relationships, and personal growth, the allure of scarcity-driven consumption diminishes. By focusing on creating a life rich in experiences, connections, and personal achievements, we can move beyond the perceived limitations of material scarcity and embrace a more fulfilling and abundant existence. In conclusion, the psychological price of scarcity is a significant factor influencing our financial decisions. The inherent human response to perceived limitations, coupled with the strategic deployment of scarcity in marketing, can lead to impulsive purchases and overspending, ultimately hindering our progress towards long-term financial goals. However, by understanding the psychological mechanisms at play and consciously adopting strategies to overcome the scarcity trap, we can cultivate a more mindful and rational approach to our financial lives. Embracing an abundance mindset, characterized by gratitude and a focus on intrinsic fulfillment, allows us to transcend the allure of artificial scarcity and make financial decisions that align with our values and contribute to a more secure and meaningful future. Thank you for joining us on Money Deconstructed.